Actual figure that's higher.
We're turning now to Poland as the country heads into its parliamentary elections. The populist Law and Justice Party, known as PiS, is hoping for re-election, and amongst the tools at its disposal to secure victory is the public broadcaster, Telewizja Polska, or TVP. The head of TVP is named Jacek Kurski. He is beyond loyal to the ruling party. Before getting that job almost 4 years ago, Kurski was a deputy minister in the PiS government. He has made sweeping changes at TVP, turning it into a propaganda machine that his political masters now rely on. But he's not the only Kurski in the media business in Poland. His older brother, Jaroslaw, effectively runs the country's biggest opposition newspaper, Gazeta Wyborcza. Think Family Feud, only one with a few political and media angles to it. The Listening Post's Flo Phillips now on how the story of two brothers and the media outlets they run reflects a deeply divided country.
9 months ago, Pawel Adamowicz, the longtime mayor of the Polish port city of Gdansk, was stabbed to death at a charity concert.
The mayor of the Polish city of Gdansk has been stabbed.
His attacker, a mentally unstable man, had just been released from prison, a prison where some say he was exposed to hour after hour of television that for months dwelt on an ongoing investigation into the mayor's personal finances.
To zachowanie tego człowieka, który siedział w więzieniu i był indoktrynowany reżimową telewizją. On był takim jakby owocem tej nienawiści sianej po prostu.
That's the mayor's widow. The regime TV she's talking about is the taxpayer-funded public broadcaster, Telewizja Polska, TVP. She says its output influenced the killer.
W 2018 roku Telewizja Polska.
In 2018, Telewizja Polska talked about Pawel Adamowicz almost 1,800 times. That's about 5 pieces a day on average.
Dlaczego prosił pan przestępców o pieniądze na film Andrzeja Wajdy?
I don't recall any level-headed accounts of the investigations into his finances. If you regularly watch TVP, you could easily have come to the conclusion that he represented a great danger to Poland.
Mógł nabrać przekonania, że to jest człowiek bardzo groźny dla Polski.
The coverage of Pawel Adamowicz is just one of the many stories that critics say reflect badly on TVP, especially its main news program, watched by more than 2 million people every day, even more in election season, which is exactly where Poland is now, between European elections 5 months ago and parliamentary elections this weekend.
A wybory 13 października są najważniejsze, bo zdecydują o przyszłości Polski.
The stories on TVP may change. The tone and its reflection of Law and Justice Party policy does not.
One mają swój stały schemat.
They have a pattern. In the beginning, we usually have information about the government's biggest achievement of the day.
$1 bilion przeznaczonych na inwestycje już pracuje w gospodarce. Efekty są widoczne.
Then, we hear about the opposition that is absolutely helpless and cannot match the government's great success.
Tymczasem z programów partii opozycyjnych, które mogłyby tworzyć rząd, wyłania się chaos.
Those stories are supported by images from their time in office, hammering home how terrible life was back then.
W trakcie kampanii wyborczej do Parlamentu Europejskiego
During the European parliamentary election campaign in May, TVP concentrated on the government most of the time, always in a very positive light. On the other hand, anytime the opposition was shown, it was always in a negative way. Either they were shown as some sort of a comical, helpless group,
Niecodzienne zachowanie byłej premier,
or they recalled all the scandals from their time in government.
skandale, afery z poprzednich rządów.
To jest jakby aparat propagandy.
It's a propaganda tool that works on a very simple basis. Lie, lie, continue to repeat the lie, and you will make it stick. I regret to tell you all this, and I'm torn about how much I should say. And you know the reason why this is so difficult for me, because the head of this television is my brother.
Że szefem tej telewizji jest mój brat.
You heard that right. Jarosław Kurski, the de facto editor-in-chief of Gazeta Wyborcza, Poland's biggest liberal newspaper, has a brother, Jacek, who just happens to run TVP. Two brothers who used to play on the same team, now on opposite sides.
It all started here in Gdansk, where the Kurski brothers were born and raised. This is also the home to this now iconic shipyard, the birthplace of Solidarity, a movement that helped to topple communism and change the face of Poland. Both brothers were heavily involved in Solidarity. Jaroslaw Kurski founded a clandestine anti-communist student newspaper. Jacek went on to edit it. Back then, they were both on the same side of the political and media divide. But in a new Poland, a post-communist one, they soon went their separate ways.
Jarosław joined Gazeta Wyborcza, which represents strong liberal democratic views with slight leftist characteristics. Jacek, however, from the start was clearly a right-wing conservative. For a long time, the Kurski brothers remained on good terms. It all started to go wrong about 2005, when the Law and Justice Party gained power for the first time. The conflict was radicalized, and it spiraled out of control.
Fast forward to 2016, just months after the Law and Justice Party returned to power, and Jacek, then a deputy culture minister, was appointed as the new head of TVP.
Jestem gwarantem tego, że będę umiał uchronić niezależność I wolność telewizji publicznej od zagrożeń ze świata polityki.
We've tried to talk to Jacek Kurski directly. We first requested an interview with him months ago, and initially it looked as though he might agree. But just before we arrived here in Warsaw, we were told he's too busy. So we're on our way to TVP now to give it one last shot.
Our producer was put through to Kurski's personal assistant. But she politely reiterated her boss didn't have time to meet with us.
Kurski purged hundreds of journalists from TVP, replacing them with reporters more loyal to the government, a public broadcaster closely aligned with one party, the Law and Justice Party, and its news coverage reflects that, a propaganda machine operating at taxpayers' expense.
The changes Jacek Kurski made have raised concerns in Brussels, where the EU has accused Poland of turning toward authoritarian politics. We did manage to put these concerns to someone from TVP, Krzysztof Skowronski, president of the Polish Journalists Association and the host of a show on the network. He explained that moving TVP to the right was the only fair way to balance out the media market in Poland.
Before 2016, the media in Poland, including TVP, were dominated by the left. After the Law and Justice Party victory, TVP started to speak the language of the victors. They reported the world from their point of view, from a conservative perspective. Yes, TVP has moved too far towards government propaganda. Yes, public TV should be in the center, but then there would be nothing on the right, and we'd have asymmetry again.
Nie ma niczego po prawej stronie, tak? I znowu sytuacja staje się asymetryczna.
The left-wing space is firmly occupied by Jarosław's Gazeta Wyborcza. The newspaper was founded 30 years ago in close alignment with the Solidarity movement. Nowadays, it's regarded as being in opposition to the current government. Scandals and alleged malpractice or misconduct by the Law and Justice Party dominate its pages. And in the run-up to this election, week after week, Wyborcza has published damning indictments of the party's 4 years in office, supplements they've called the Black Book of Peace.
It's completely critical towards the government, regardless of what the government does. What's more, they don't just support the opposition, but for many years, they've embodied it. Jarosław Kurski is an active politician who speaks at political rallies.
Dzisiaj przyszli po media publiczne, jutro chcą przyjść po media prywatne. Nie pozwolimy im!
He's crossed the line as a journalist.
We at Gazeta Wyborcza do not see ourselves only as journalists. We are also conscious citizens. Please remember, these are not normal times. Let me give you an example. After the victory of the Law and Justice Party, a huge group of their supporters, led by a Catholic priest, came to the headquarters of Gazeta Wyborcza and performed an exorcism on us. They accused us of promoting multi-culti, of bringing Muslim terrorists to Poland, of lacking morality, of being evil. The government wants to destroy us, but it's very intelligent. It is not a face-to-face attack or an attempt at censorship. They hope to kill us financially. They put a plastic bag over our head and say, try to breathe.
In many ways, the tale of the Kurski brothers and their respective media outlets provides a snapshot, a telling one, of Polish politics today. And wherever this story goes, it's going to be told in more ways than one.